Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Going to be giving you my starting 11 prediction for our game against Liverpool. So, Dean Henderson, he will be back in goal. Dean Henderson wasn't in goal for the game against Leicester recently. It was De Gea. Dean Henderson is now our number 1. And we've made the right decision putting him as our number 1, because I did mention that he's reliable enough to be our number 1. Dean Henderson has done well in a lot of games this season. He's kept a lot of clean sheets. His distribution's been good. He's made good saves and he's made some good aerial claims. I can assure Dean Henderson has got a long-term future at Manchester United. Dean Henderson has got that experience behind him. He did endure 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. He's also had other loan spells before. Before the start of this season, he signed a 6-year contract with Man United. So reflecting on that, he committed his future to the club. At right back, I'm going to go with Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka didn't play against Leicester. He was rested. Went with Brandon Williams at right back against Leicester. Wan-Bissaka is really improving at Manchester United. You know, he's showing more attacking intent now. You know, he's getting into decent positions. He's putting good crosses into the box. Defensively, Wan-Bissaka has always been superb. I can assure Wan-Bissaka has got a long-term future at Manchester United. You know, this has been his second full season at the club. We got him in a deal worth 50 million from Crystal Palace in the summer of 2019. I'm convinced that Wan-Bissaka can emulate into the next Gary Neville. Probably one of the best right backs we've had since Gary Neville. The 2 centre-halves, I'm going to go with Victor Lindelof and Eric Bailly. Victor Lindelof obviously didn't play against Leicester. He was rested. It was obviously Tuanzebe alongside Eric Bailly against Leicester. Now, Victor Lindelof, I think he has had some good games at Manchester United, but he's also endured a lot of bad games. I do have my reservations about Lindelof. I think he'll stay at Manchester United, potentially past the summer, but I don't think he's going to be with us long term. Lindelof has been at the club now for quite a few years. We got him in a deal worth 31 million from Benfica back in 2017. Eric Bailly, I don't think he was too good against Leicester, to be honest with you. I thought he lacked that composure, struggled to play out from the back. He was quite poor on the ball, and he really struggled against Jamie Vardy. Not so long ago, Eric Bailly signed a new contract with Manchester United until 2024. There is an option of a further year. Bailly signed a new contract because obviously he knew he was going to get his way back into the team. Bailly is a very good centre-half though. In a lot of the games he plays in. He intercepts the ball well. He shows the ability to play out from the back. He's effective in the air. My only element of concern about him is injury prone, so in that aspect he is a liability. We got Eric Bailly from Villarreal back in 2016. You know, we paid around £30 million for him. At left back, I'm going to go with Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw obviously was rested against Leicester recently. Obviously, went with Tellez against Leicester. Luke Shaw has been our best player this season by far. You know, in a lot of his games, Luke Shaw showed very good attacking intent. He's provided width. He's created good chances for his teammates. His crossing's been good. And defensively, he's been superb. Luke Shaw's had a good career at Manchester United despite his injuries. He's been at the club now over 6 years. Luke Shaw has just over 2 years left on his current contract. It said earlier on this season that Man United were set to offer Luke Shaw a new 5-year contract worth around £180,000 a week. So it said he's going to be given like a £30,000 pay rise. In the midfield, I'm going to go with Fred and Scott McTominay. None of them played against Leicester recently. Fred, I think he's a decent player, but he's not world class. He probably isn't good enough to emulate that level where we want him to be at. Fred has enjoyed some good games at Manchester United, but he's also enjoyed some poor games as well. The worst game I recall Fred having at Manchester United was the game against Leicester in the FA Cup quarter-final, because in that game Fred gave the ball away countless times and he was accountable for Leicester's first goal. You know, when Fred plays well though, he can read the game well, he can dictate the play, he can get forward well, he can pass the ball well, and he can create good chances. We overpaid for Fred. We got him in a deal worth 52 million from Shakhtar Donetsk. Scott McTominay, he's a decent player. Obviously needs more time at Man United. You know, he's still young. He's got a lot of development in him. McTominay's been part of the club for a while anyway. Just after the first lockdown last year, he signed a 5-year contract with Manchester United. So reflecting on that, he committed his future to the club. The best game McTominay has had this season was the 6-2 win against Leeds. He was superb in that game. Obviously, he scored 2 goals in that game. Ahead of Fred and McTominay, I'm going to go with Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes didn't start against Leicester recently, but he did come off the bench. Bruno Fernandes has been very consistent in a lot of games for Manchester United, but there's also been a few games where he has looked off the pace. Let's be honest, we have overplayed Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes has been at Manchester United for over a year now. Don't forget, he did say on his 12-month anniversary back in January that he's planning on spending many years at Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes has won Player of the Month quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. He is our best player and he's one of the best signings we have made since Ferguson retired. Bruno Fernandes wants Man United to make 2 signings, if he's to sign a new contract. Said earlier on this season that Fernandes will sign a new contract if Paul Pogba commits his future with the club. Fernandes' current contract expires in 2025. There is an option of a further 12 months. Because it said earlier on this season that Bruno Fernandes was refusing to sign a new contract until he has assurances over our transfer plans. We initially paid £47 million for him, but the overall cost with add-ons is just over £67 million. So yeah, he'll come in for Juan Mata because obviously Juan Mata was playing in the number 10 against Leicester. On the left-hand side, I'm going to go with Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba was obviously rested against Leicester. He didn't play any part. I like Paul Pogba in more of an advanced role because that's where he's more effective. He's much better in more of an advanced role than he is in a deeper role. I hope Paul Pogba stays at Manchester United, potentially past the summer, because we've been getting the best out of him in recent months. He does bring creativity to the team. Don't forget earlier on this season, Pogba had a thigh injury and he was out for a while. He had an ankle injury at the first part of this season and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. Pogba's our most expensive signing at the moment. We paid, £89 million for him, and this has been his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. Now, it said earlier on this season that Man United will offer Paul Pogba a new £400,000 a week contract. It says Pogba is demanding £500,000 a week. Pogba's current contract expires next year because earlier on this season we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract. Now, it said earlier on this season that Man United will sell Paul Pogba if he doesn't sign a new contract. And it says we will demand $80 million for him this summer. Obviously, Solskjaer wants Paul Pogba to stay. I presume a lot of United fans want him to stay. Solskjaer said earlier on this season that Paul Pogba's future lies at Old Trafford. And Solskjaer hopes he signs a new contract. It said our players would be devastated if the club decided to sell him. Now, he's had a long-running transfer saga. He's been relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. PSG have been in for him. Barcelona have been in for him. And his former club Juventus have been in for him. I said there's a very good chance that Pogba will go back to Juventus. If he leaves Man United in the summer transfer window, because he did enjoy 4 good years with them before he rejoined us. Mini Oriola has obviously been talking a lot this season. He said not so long ago that Paul Pogba wants to win trophies at Man United or at another top European club. He did mention that Paul Pogba's future is in doubt. And he spoke about Eden Hazard and Paul Pogba swap deal. Earlier on this season, Mini Oriola said he doesn't give a fuck if he doesn't take another player to Man United as long as his clients are happy. And he also criticised Sir Alex Ferguson for forcing Pogba out of the club when he was younger. But he did say earlier on this season, Mini Oriola, that he's got no intentions of destabilising his client's season. And he made an admission saying that he's working quietly on Paul Pogba's transfer to avoid offence. Because Mini Oriola doesn't have a good relationship with the club and he's being criticised a lot. And he made an announcement back in December last year regarding Pogba and Solskjaer was furious with Mini Oriola's announcement. So there you go. So yeah, Pogba will come in for Imad Diallo Traore. I think he was playing on the left-hand side against Leicester was Imad Diallo Traore. Imad Diallo Traore made his full debut for Man United. And he looks a very good asset for the first team. On the right-hand side, I'm going to go with Mason Greenwood. Greenwood did play against Leicester. Obviously, he scored our goal. It was a precise finish from Mason Greenwood. Greenwood is a very, very good player. And he's done well in a lot of his games for Man United since he broke into our senior squad. Greenwood made his senior debut in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 7, so he's been part of the club for a long time now. And earlier on this season, he signed a new 4-year contract with Man United. Don't forget, Greenwood went a long time without scoring. Ollie's been defending him a lot this season. The first part of this season didn't really have a perception on Greenwood because he was in and out of the team. We did give him that number 11 shirt at the start of this season. But whether you play him centrally or whether you play him on the right, we seem to get the best out of him. And up top, I'm going to go with Edinson Cavani. Edinson Cavani didn't start against Leicester recently, but he did come off the bench. We know that Edinson Cavani is staying at Manchester United for next season because Fabrizio Romano recently said that Cavani had signed his contract extension with Manchester United. He has signed a 1-year deal. But he said the other week that Edinson Cavani has decided that he wants to stay at Man United in the summer. And he said he was close to agreeing the 1-year contract extension. Solskjaer did say that he was doing all he could, to convince Edinson Cavani to stay at the club, because Solskjaer said before that Edinson Cavani's future is not 100% being decided. But Cavani's made a fantastic impact since he's come in, in a lot of his games. His hold-up play's been good. He's created chances. Scored very good goals, and his movement in and around the box has been good. But there has been some games where, he hasn't got enough service and he's looked isolated. Cavani's got a very good pedigree behind him as a player. Look what he did at PSG, won quite a lot of trophies, and he was with them a long time. Cavani has sustained a few injuries at Man United. So that's how I think we could line up against Liverpool. We have got some injuries. Obviously, Harry Maguire, he's out with an ankle injury. Maguire sustained the ankle injury in our 3-1 win against Aston Villa. I think he's got ligament damage. He could miss the Europa League final, could Harry Maguire, but Solskjaer's hopeful that he will be back for then. Obviously, Phil Jones is still injured. He's been out of injury over the year. Daniel James is injured. And Anthony Martial is still out with a knee injury. Martial's been out a while now. Solskjaer's hopeful that Martial will be back for the Europa League final. But yeah, we are coming to this game against Liverpool on the back of a 2-1 loss against Leicester. I wasn't too disappointed with the loss against Leicester because we played a weakened team. Solskjaer was expected to rotate heavily, and he did do it. Solskjaer made 10 changes in the game against Leicester from the 3-1 win against Aston Villa. Like I said, we saw Mad Diallo Traore make his full debut, and we saw Alanga make his Manchester United debut. Obviously, with Leicester beating us, that crowned Manchester City Premier League champions. And I think there's a very, very good chance now that Leicester will finish in the top 4. They are 8 points clear of West Ham. It was the first time Leicester had beaten us at Old Trafford since 1998. And it was the second time that Leicester had beaten us this season, because they did beat us in the FA Cup quarter-final earlier on this season, 3-1. It was our first defeat though in a while in the Premier League, was that 2-1 loss to Leicester. Now obviously this game against Liverpool got rearranged, because we were supposed to be playing Liverpool on the 2nd of May. But the game got postponed because hundreds of our fans went inside Old Trafford and invaded the pitch. There was protesting against the Glazers. So the game should go ahead tonight. Man United and Liverpool is the biggest game in English football. Man United and Liverpool are the 2 most decorated clubs in England. By the way, Jurgen Klopp has come out and defended Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team selection in the 2-1 defeat to Leicester. So in that aspect, I've got to credit Jurgen Klopp. We beat Liverpool earlier on this season in the FA Cup 4th round, 3-2 at Old Trafford. We drew with them 0-0 at Anfield in the Premier League. We haven't beaten Liverpool in the Premier League since 2018. But Liverpool have not beaten us at Old Trafford since 2014. Liverpool have endured a very poor season to their standards. Earlier on this season, there was some Liverpool fans criticising Jurgen Klopp, and there were some Liverpool fans that were demanding him out. There was a period where Liverpool lost 6 home games in a row. And they've lost to teams that they should have beat. At one point, Anfield was a fortress. Nobody could win there. Liverpool did go 68 games unbeaten at Anfield. Liverpool did win their last game. They beat Southampton 2-0. Jurgen Klopp is the best manager Liverpool have had in the Premier League era. Jurgen Klopp has been Liverpool manager now over 5 years. He's under contract with Liverpool until 2024. I think it was last season he extended his contract until 2024. Jurgen Klopp hasn't got a great pedigree behind him. He has won 4 trophies at Liverpool so far. Last season, Jurgen Klopp won the Premier League. That was Liverpool's first title in 30 years. He won the FIFA Club World Cup. He won the Super Cup. That was last season, and the season before he won the Champions League. Liverpool have won the Champions League 6 times. They've won the most Champions Leagues out of the English clubs. Liverpool did get to the 2018 Champions League final, but they lost 3-1 to Real Madrid. Before Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp was at Borussia Dortmund. He won a few trophies at Dortmund, and before he was at Dortmund, he was at Mainz 05, and his record at Mainz 05 was absolutely disastrous. Liverpool have spent over £400 million under Jurgen Klopp. But, Liverpool have had quite a few good managers. They've also had some bad managers as well. Obviously, before Jurgen Klopp, they had Brendan Rodgers. You can say Brendan Rodgers enjoyed one good season at Liverpool. Before Brendan Rodgers, I think they had Roy Hodgson. Roy Hodgson was a very, very bad manager for them. He's probably one of the worst managers that Liverpool have ever had, Roy Hodgson. They also had kind of Dalglish at one point. Wasn't a good manager, but he was a good player. They also had Rafa Benitez. He was a good manager for Liverpool. Liverpool won the Champions League under his guidance. They had Gerard Houllier many, many years ago. He was a good manager for them. Gerard Houllier is dead now. And many, many years ago, they had Bob Paisley and Bill Shankly, who were good. So there you go. And Liverpool have got some injuries. Obviously, Kelleher's out with injury in Eli, their second choice goalkeeper now. Origi is out with injury, so won't be playing in this game. Wouldn't have played anyway, even if he had been fit. I think there's a good chance that Liverpool will offload Origi in the summer transfer window because he's like their fourth choice striker now. James Milner, he's also out with injury. To Milner's credit, I think he's done very, very well at Liverpool. I presume he'll leave at the end of the season. Will he retire at the end of the season, or will he go to another club before he retires? Jordan Henderson is also injured for Liverpool. He's one of their key players. Probably won't be playing tonight's game. Kabak, he's also out with injury. Liverpool brought him in January. Liverpool got Kabak on loan. Don't think he'll be playing in this game tonight. Naby Keita, he's also out with injury. Won't play anyway because Keita isn't one of Liverpool's first choice midfielders. Do you think Liverpool could offload Naby Keita in the summer transfer window? Obviously, Joe Matip is out injured. Liverpool could offload him in the summer transfer window. He's not a bad centre-half, Matip, but he's injury prone. He's like Eric Bailly for us. Joe Gomez, he's obviously out for the season. He's one of Liverpool's first choice centre-halves. And Virgil van Dijk is obviously out for the season. Liverpool have really been missing Virgil van Dijk. He's one of their best players. He's the second most expensive centre-half in the world. Liverpool paid £75 million for him from Southampton. So there you go. They're the injuries they've got. Mohamed Salah, I think he'll be in contention to play tonight for Liverpool. Salah's a world-class player. Liverpool did get him from Roma. But he can endure his poor games, can Mohamed Salah. Sadio Mane, I think he'll be in contention to play tonight against us. Mane is a very, very good player. He can create chances well. He can get in good positions. Some of his link-up play can be good, and he can score very, very good goals. I think Liverpool got Sadio Mane from Southampton. Roberto Firmino, I think he'll probably be involved tonight. Roberto Firmino, he's a good player, but I think in the last couple of seasons, he has been out of form. Especially this season, the chances have been there for Firmino, but he hasn't converted them. I think a lot of Liverpool fans have criticised Firmino this season. So a lot of Liverpool fans will be saying tonight that they should play Jota ahead of Firmino. Jota has made a fantastic impact at Liverpool. He really, really has. Liverpool got him from Wolves. Liverpool got Jota last year from Wolves, and earlier on this season, he had an injury, did Diego Jota. Shaqiri, I don't see him starting tonight. I think there's a good chance that Liverpool will offload Shaqiri in the summer transfer window. He makes an impact from the bench, does Shaqiri, but he's not a 90-minute player. Shaqiri actually started in the game between us and them at Anfield, surprisingly. Obviously, Liverpool have got a lot of midfielders in the team. They've got Chamberlain, they've got Jorginho Wijnaldum. I think there's a good chance they'll offload Wijnaldum because he said earlier on this season he rejected a contract extension. They've obviously got Milner, like I said. Firmino's very, very good, but obviously he's been playing at centre-half and that. They've got Thiago. Thiago recently scored his first goal for Liverpool. So there you go. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.